So hello fellow banknote collectors, how you going? And this is Glenn with another banknote video, and today we're looking at the last banknotes of France. So this actually comes in 4 denominations. So we have the 50, we have 100 francs, so the currency of France. Before the euro was francs. Then we have 200 francs, and we have 500 francs. And as you can see, they're all pretty big, and they're also all in different colours. So the first banknote to issue in 92 was the 50 franc, then in 94 the 500, in 95 the 200, and in 97 was the 100. So this one only circulated for 5 years, and in 2002 they were replaced by the euro. So on the 50 franc we have, you see his name here, Antonin de Saint-Exupéry, born in 1900, passed away in 1944. So obviously during the Second World War. And as you can see, I don't know too much about him, but there is a map on the back, and there is an aircraft. So the aircraft is a Letecourte 28 airplane, and it has a wing up top, so it's not a biplane. And this is the Le Petit Prince, so the Small Prince. So I wonder if these are all related to him somehow. So I'd say he's probably an aviator. And on the back we have the Bruges 14 biplane. And it's a biplane because there's a wing at the top, wing down the bottom. And these are the aircraft they generally used during the First World War. But this one looks like it might have been made in the 1920s. And this banknote is actually dated 1994. And you can see the Petit Prince is actually a security feature in that it is on both sides. So it should actually match up. So half the colour is on this side, half the colour is on that side, and when you put it together they should actually match up. And the watermark is the same as the person is actually depicted on this banknote. Then we have the 100 banknote. This one has Paul Chesene, 1839 to 1906, and you get another feature, so another security feature, and I'm not too sure what that is. It looks like 2 people, definitely before computers. Is that a bird? So probably 2 people who are actually interested in bird watching. Or maybe not bird watching, but breeding birds. And on the back we have a painting by Paul Chesene. So the image on the back and the person on the front are both related. So this guy was an artist. Yeah, it looks like not really an impression, more like a realism type of art. And up the top, and the watermark is also. Is it that guy? Yes, it is. Oh yeah, the hairstyle looks a bit different on the actual watermark. Has a security thread, has 2 actually, one there and a segmented one here. And this one's a little bit ripped, which is a pity. But to get these banknotes all in one go is actually a bit hard. I actually just wanted to get them for this video. And then we have the 200 francs. Oh, and another thing I forgot to say was the exchange rate is about 5 francs to $1 Australian. So 200 francs is roughly equivalent to $40. And here we have Gustave Eiffel, 1832 to 1923. And he actually built the Eiffel Tower, which is actually this building here. That's that guy there. There's another observatory. and he's also in the watermark, like normal. Here is a security feature, which is this actually, no, not too sure what actually does, but it's probably harder to actually print. And then we have the circle for the blind, but I actually don't feel any difference with the background, so it's not actually raised. And this one's the first prefix A, but have a look at the numbers. You got 100,000, 24 million. So really, you need A, probably 000 to actually, for it to be worth anything. And on the back we have a watercolor of the Eiffel Tower. It's actually quite a nice banknote. I actually like French banknotes because they're beautiful watercolor type images on their banknotes, and watercolors are just really awesome. And this one's from 96, so this is probably around about 1900s, I'd say, 1910s, just basically from what the clothes people are actually wearing, because these dresses pretty much went out roughly around the time of the First World War. They're pretty cumbersome type clothing, but oh well, that's just the way they were back then. And the highest banknote, which had an equivalent value of 100 Australian dollars, is the 500 franc. So obviously France never issued banknotes, equivalent to about $500 or $1,000. $100 or 500 francs is the highest actually went. And this banknote has Marie Curie and Pierre Curie. Now I know these two actually died of radiation poisoning because I think it was radon. Was it radon? I can't remember the actual element that actually poisoned them. And here we have an actual lab. So here's the actual atom. So we've got the nucleus with the proton and neutron. Then we have the electrons circulating around. But they don't actually circulate around like that. It's like a cloud actually. And then we have beta for beta waves. And we have various equipment that you use for distilling. So this one, you'd have a Bunsen burner here, heat the liquid in the flask, then the liquid evaporates and it cools down here, condenses into this one. So this one, they're actually separating the liquid from any solids or anything else that doesn't actually evaporate in that flask. That's actually a nice watercolor as well. Science is awesome. So, what would you actually be paying for these banknotes? Well, basically, you can actually get these for like $5 or $10 each. Generally, I've gotten these all for $5, roughly. So, if we have a look, if you kept these in 2002, so you got $100, $140, $150, $160 you would have kept, and now they're pretty much worthless. You'll be paying $20. So if you kept these in 2002, you lost a lot of money, especially the 500 francs. You can, if you look, get these for $5. But more likely you'll be getting them for like $10. If you want an uncirculated one, you're going to be paying more, definitely more. But for uncirculated ones, they're actually $5 to $10. So this is a lesson with collecting banknotes and any other currency, especially the German ones from 1910. If they're in this condition, then you have two things happen. If they get demonetized, well, then you've lost all your money. So you're better off not keeping them. And they just drop in value after they've been demonetized. If they haven't been demonetized, like not the Australian dollar, like, what currency? Oh yeah, no, the Australian dollar, the old paper ones, but they're in this condition, inflation's going to actually eat the value. So they might retain like a $50 value, but over time inflation will actually destroy that $50, and like in 20-30 years time you might only have $30 values. So that's what you need to be careful when you actually collect banknotes and coins. But this banknote series is actually quite nice. You can get them in uncirculated if you actually are willing to pay, but just check and see what actually is out there. So I hope this teaches you something about the history of France, especially the French franc, and have an awesome banknote and coin collecting time. I'd like to say thank you. I'll leave a link down below to eBay, to their banknotes from France, and have a good one. Thank you and goodbye.